Welcome in to the CHGO Blackhawks postgame podcast presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook. Download the app and use promo code CHGO when you sign up. Welcome in. Happy Valentine's Day. I'm Jay Zawaski with Greg Boysen and Mario Tirabassi. Greg is in the spirit. Mario and I, not so much. You know,
Black.
Very red. I like the
soul.
HBK Roosevelt.
It's my Shawn
nice.
Michaels heartbreaker.
It's wonderful.
So,
I love
you know,
that. I wish I had it.
You gonna do it?
Super kick somebody in the face.
Hey,
It's gonna
The
have to be
super kick of the day goes
That'd be
to.
fun.
it's gonna have to be somebody really short. I can't get my leg up that high.
Yeah, I feel you on that one. Anyway, Hawks lose 4-0 in Montreal. Boy, this game flat out sucked. We're going to get to it. Make sure you are following us on all of our social medias at CHGO Sports and CHGO_Blackhawks. You're also going to want to make sure you like the video here on YouTube and subscribe to the page. And if you're listening on the podcast, make sure you're subscribed or following us there as well so you get the new episodes whenever they drop. No waiting. Boom. Turn it on. Turn on those notifications, and you'll be good to go. So, fellas, let's get into this one. Really just kind of a clunker from start to finish. First period was pretty even. The next two, Montreal kind of really put their feet on the throats of the Blackhawks, and this team, I hate to do the effort thing, but they just did not look ready to play in this. They did not look engaged at all.
weighed down by heart-shaped pizza and poutine.
Their GAF meters were at like 2.
They were low.
Yeah, they and that's a rarity for this team for most of the season. We commend them and like, hey, they lost, but they really tried hard. That wasn't the case tonight.
No.
They just kind of, we're here. We're going to skate around, and then we're going to get on the bus. We're going to go to Toronto tomorrow. And as I said to Jay, as we were walking over to come on the air, I was like, they lose 4-0 to Montreal tonight. They're probably going to win 5-1 in Toronto tomorrow because hockey is
Why
stupid.
not? Yeah.
Like, this was the beatable team of this 3-game stretch, and you never really had much of a shot. And then tomorrow you're probably supposed to get your butts kicked by Toronto, so they'll win.
Well, and it's on national TV, so.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I don't know. It's they are hard to figure out, and Jared Tenorti goes down in the first period, didn't return. Jason Dickinson took a shot off the hand, came back, but obviously that hurt him. Max Domi took a hard hit against the boards. A lot of Hawks slow to get up. Jaxson Stauber got knocked into by Mackenzie Entwistle, and he was able to continue, but a lot of Hawks getting dinged in this game too.
Domi
And-
got a big hit. Anthony Ciu was limping a little bit, and then Whistle.
And Whistle, yeah, after he ran into Stauber, also went to the locker room for a
Maybe
period
hit
of time, and
sympathy
Reese
fans.
Johnson taking one right on the chin as the game ended. So really a walking wounded night for this Blackhawks team.
I have to think that somewhere in Rockford, Mark Bernard is trying to book a couple flights to Toronto.
Could be, yeah. At least Ian Mitchell gets to unpack his bag.
Yeah, he
you know,
can-
we should probably bank on that.
Yeah, Mitchell will be back in the lineup, I'm going to assume, tomorrow.
Yeah,
If Tenorti can't go. And at this point, Tenorti just, can't.
I feel bad for the guy.
He can't take. And it looked like tonight was a block shot off the
Yeah, it
ankle.
wasn't anything with his face this
Right,
time.
at least he's got that going for him.
Congratulations.
So, congratulations for not hurting your face. But yeah, it's just they never got anything going. Like we had a Andreas Athanasiou play, a very Athanasiou play.
Yes.
Gets a breakaway, skates a little too fast, gets there too close. Doesn't get the shot off really, and then kicks it into the net as he knocks the net off the moorings with his face.
Too
It
fast.
was the Athanasiouiest that I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was a very on-brand breakaway attempt for him. But I mean, you wonder if he doesn't bulldoze the goal. If that goes in, it might change the mood of the game for the team. But ifs and buts are candies and nuts, I've been told.
Yeah, and we'd all have a Merry Christmas or something along those lines.
Yeah.
And then the second period, they have a 5-on-3 for almost a minute, and
Nothing.
did jack crap with it.
Yeah, I mean, you've got a nearly 2-minute 5-on-3, and you end the period getting outshot 13-7.
I'm pretty sure they had 0 shots on goal in the 5-on-3 period of time.
Well, and there was, we saw the goal that we've grown so used to seeing, where Patrick Kane is on the right wing, and there's a shooter on the left wing, and he makes that pass across, and the Hawks score, get a good scoring chance. Today, even that wasn't working. They couldn't even get shots off.
Tyler Johnson was like acted surprised that pass was being there. It was like, dude,
be ready.
That's the bread and butter play.
Yeah.
If you're the left winger on Patrick Kane on the power play, get your stick on the ice and be ready for the puck to come. And he just kind of like go, and it's just that was tonight in a nutshell right there, the thumbnail of tonight.
Yeah. It was. You're right. Like usually after these games, we can at least take away. They did their best and they hung in there. They just ran out of gas, and there's really no excuse for it. And I'm sure Luke Richardson will echo what we're saying, and he'll be disappointed, and hopefully they respond better in Toronto tomorrow. They're going to have to. I don't know if we've gotten an update on the status of Austin Matthews yet.
I think
he's
tomorrow.
Yeah, because he was back in a normal jersey at Leafs practice today. I think Greg pointed that out.
Goody.
Yeah.
Sure.
Hey,
that's fine.
The tank.
Yeah.
It's good for him to get an up close look at his future head coach. Which will be good,
right?
For,
and we
for
need him here to play on Sunday, so he can get hey, this is cool. I like
the United Center. Yeah,
all right. They got good pregame meals here. Like I could get used to this.
Yeah. See, I like where your guys' heads are at.
Yeah.
Already we're starting the recruitment trip. Maybe Benny the Bull will be there, and Jerry Krause will meet him at the airport, and it'll be a whole thing.
Tommy Hawk can blow a confetti cannon in his face.
Yeah, I think that'll go over
finish
well.
the sentence.
It was a bad pause, especially today. A couple of people in the chat talking about Kirby Dach, and I think it was Shep who said he looks like a different guy. Well,
not tonight. Did you see him tonight?
If you review the box score, it looks very much like the same guy.
Yeah.
One shot
18,
on goal.
27, one shot. And 25% on his faceoffs. That's the Kirby Dach we all know and love.
That's the Dach I remember.
Difference? And yes, he's having a better year this year, but he's also got to play most of the season with Nick Suzuki and Cole Caulfield on the wing.
Yeah,
on the wing, where he doesn't have to worry about getting his ass handed to him at the faceoff dot on a nightly basis, as he did tonight. Here's your ass.
Here's your ass.
Enjoy. Yes, and good for him. I'm glad he's having success in Montreal. But there's a lot of fans that want to say, hey, we lost that trade. I can't believe we gave it. Can we let Frank Nazar make it to the NHL?
He's played 2 college games.
And he played 2 really good college games.
Really good college games.
Can we not, can we wait 3 to 4 years before we finally even discuss who won this trade?
Yes, there's... That trade still has yet to be completed in the assets that were moved, because there was also a 3rd-round pick in this year's draft that was part of that trade. So you get...
The trade isn't even done.
I'm thinking of the DeBrincat trade. I'm sorry. The 2 picks that from the Dach trade is Nazar and Gavin Hayes.
Yeah, Gavin Hayes is having a really nice season.
Yes.
So you got... let's let this play out.
So let some of these guys get to the NHL before you're, crowning Kyle Davidson a loser that needs to be fired. Pump the freaking brakes.
And our guy Jamie has a good point. The hype on Kirby is because he's in Montreal with a career season.
Absolutely.
Yes. And if Kirby Dach was not doing what he was doing, they'd be running his ass out of town on a rail.
That was the big concern when that trade happened, was if he can't stand the pressure here, how's he going to do it in Montreal? I mean, that's...
Yeah.
He started off great with that line, and now the Canadians have kind of... They stink, and they've had Caulfield get injured, and they've lost some guys, so there's no pressure now, because I think Canadian fans tonight are probably mad that they won. They want Connor Bedard
screwing up their tank, which is fine by me.
But don't worry, they got an 11% chance, right?
Oh, yeah, yes. I have to look at how you add the percentages up.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I just... And I know today, the Twitter world was in upheaval because Patrick Kane spoke about Kirby Dach and said, I'm not surprised at the success he was having this season, because something along the lines of, you don't play him in 4th-line minutes and you put him in a role where he can succeed, and I'm not surprised that a young guy like him is finding success. And everyone was like, oh, look at Patrick Kane shitting on the Blackhawks on his way out. Can we rewind 1 year ago today? What we all were saying about Kirby Dach? Hey, he's not a center.
Yeah.
Don't play him with Ryan Carpenter and whoever else was on the team at that time. Brett Connolly. Don't play him with those guys. Play him on the wing. Play him with guys who have a bit of skill.
And keep him somewhere.
And give him some consistency.
Yeah.
And, was he rushed to the NHL?
Yes.
Yeah, I think definitively we can say that. But by the time he was in his third season, he just needed some consistency. And now in Montreal, he's getting all those things that I think most Blackhawks fans were saying, this is what you have to do to get the best out of Kirby Dach. And Montreal did it. It wasn't a galaxy brain plan. Put players in positions to succeed, and more often than not, they will find some success. And if they don't, then it's on them.
Right. Jesse Puljujarvi.
So yeah. The people who are looking at Kirby Dach and saying like, oh, it's this epiphany of Martin St. Louis is a magician to get this out of Kirby Dach. He just needed small tweaks.
Yeah.
Could he have found it in Chicago with Luke Richardson?
Sure.
Probably.
Yeah.
Given what Richardson has done as a head coach so far, he probably could have, but the organization decided that they didn't want to. And again, you can grade the trade now and say the Blackhawks lost, but
because they haven't got any NHL production yet.
Grade it in 5 years and see what we're talking about. If Kirby Dach has got a statue in Montreal in 5 years, which he might, if they keep praising him the way that they are, fine. But there's a really high chance that Frank Nazar comes in and surpasses what Kirby Dach's ceiling could have been in Chicago.
I think Frank Nazar is going to make people forget all about Kirby Dach.
Give it time.
We were all here on draft night, and I was like, we need to draft Frank Nazar with that 7th pick. We were all there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I love this kid. I think he's going to make us forget about Kirby Dach, just like I think Kevin Korchinski is going to make us not feel so bad about losing Alex DeBrincat, too. You got to give it some time.
Right. I was thinking about that coming in, the Dach comparison, and I completely lost my thought. So I want to acknowledge the $5 super chat we got
from 3 in the morning. Super fan.
Are those euros?
I think those are euros. Is that the symbol for euros?
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Alexandre. This is our friend from Portugal, is it not?
I believe this is true. Yes.
I believe so. 3 a.m. First super chat, just supporting and say, while I like all of the crews at CHGO, you guys are my favorite. By far, keep up the awesome work. Well, thank you, Alex. Andre, you are our favorite right now.
You're our Valentine.
You are our favorite fan from Portugal. There's no doubt about that.
I got my thought. Here we go.
There it is.
Came back to me. So I was thinking about this driving in today, and you compare the post-draft analysis of Dach from all the insiders, Prom and Wheeler, on and on and on. Mm-hmm. The list goes. And they're like, bit of a stretch. A little bit raw, probably call up too soon, need some time to ripen, all those sort of things. And now you go and look at the stuff that's been written about Frank Nazar from draft to now, and everyone's saying the Hawks knocked it out of the park with this pick. This kid's going to be special. Mm-hmm. Can't believe he fell that low in a draft. And he's only played 2 games in Michigan, but like just the tenor around the pick is totally different.
Yeah.
And look, hype doesn't necessarily mean that a kid's going to grow up and be exactly what all these experts think he's going to be. But just in terms of the analysis of the 2 picks, they're night and day.
Yeah.
Kirby Dach was like, well, maybe, if he maxes out, he could be a really good number 2 center. The talk about Nazar is like all-star type playmaking stud with a ton of speed and just the tenor of the conversation is different. Mm-hmm. So that's what excites me. And look, I like Kirby Dach.
Right.
He's a good kid. He came here and was, a model citizen. Happy to be here. All those sort of things.
He didn't want out of Chicago.
No, it's nothing against Kirby Dach, but I think we just all need to sort of pause and not try to knee jerk react to everything because we're frustrated with what's happening with the team right now. Mm-hmm. Look, if Kirby Dach was on the Blackhawks, would they be better? No. A little bit. How much better are the Canadiens than the Blackhawks with Kirby Dach? Not too much. They're not too much better. And they're, a year or 2 ahead in their rebuild.
I don't know if the Hawks would be better with Kirby Dach. I think they'd be about the same.
Slightly.
Maybe, but Kirby Dach doesn't have Cole Caulfield, Nick Suzuki here.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. Well,
he'd be playing with Sam Lafferty and Jason Dickinson. So.
Well, and we talked with Shayna Goldman from The Athletic about this exact thing of, if they didn't strip down their roster, if they had brought back Dach and Strome and Kubalik and DeBrincat, they still would be on the outside of the playoff picture. So, it's
This is the year to suck as hard as you can.
absolutely,
Suck hard for Bedard.
absolutely.
Got some news coming from Phil Thompson of the Tribune and Ben Pope. They're both in Montreal. Jared Tenorti has a lower body injury, will not play tomorrow night against the Leafs. Jason Dickinson injured his wrist. Quote, he should be okay tomorrow. Mackenzie Entwistle is a maybe for tomorrow's game.
They better get
there
somebody
you go.
from Rockford.
Yeah.
Either that or, by God, that's Jonathan Taves' music. I don't think so.
Yeah.
That would be quite the turnaround because
yeah.
he is still in Chicago
Yeah.
per reports.
Charlie the
so.
Bacon Guy asked about that. He did not make the trip. He will not play tomorrow, but he began the skating and began the working out and seems to be on the path back. I just wonder, what the hell? What kind of flu was this?
I don't think it's necessarily the flu. I think it's the guy that takes a lot longer to recover.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's the recovery.
Because he was
different now for him.
He was at Sunday's game. I saw him in the tunnel after the game, waiting to get in the locker room. He was there. He's alive.
Was he clenching?
No, he was. He looked as not any more clinching than he normally looks.
Well, it's always about 30% clenching.
Right.
You look at
He
Taves,
didn't look
yeah.
any. He didn't look any. He wasn't pale or sickly. He was dressed quite dapperly, and that was that. So I mean, I think it's got more to do with the recovery time than the actual illness. It's concerning. No doubt about that.
Yeah.
But man, it looks like the Devils scored those rat
With
bastards.
1 second left.
Really?
For real?
Ryan Graves, 2 seconds, 1958. Ryan Graves scores. Devils beat the Blue Jackets 3-2.
Blue Jackets are useless. You couldn't
Come
hold on for 2
on.
seconds to get that point.
No Righteous Rage says, let's get on the Kane to Dallas for Stankoven. I
That's
want
not
everyone to
happening.
pump the brakes. There's
Yeah.
no
Not
no
happening.
teams like number 1, 2, or 3 prospect is coming to the Hawks this year.
Nope.
No.
It's you're like, if you're a Lafreniere Kako guy, not going to happen. Even though Rangers are out of the picture anyway, Stankoven's not going to happen. You're not going to get a high-end recent top draft pick from a team, especially in the condition Patrick Kane's in, which we're going to get to here in a minute. We want to
if the
take an
Hawks
ad break
wanted
first.
Logan Stankoven, they should have drafted him in the first round instead of Nolan Allen, like I was screaming at my television for them to do. Not that, no offense to Nolan Allen, he looks like he's going to turn out to be a solid guy.
He's coming around.
But you could have had him 3 rounds later and had Stankoven in that spot.
At least 1 round later.
Yeah. So I wouldn't. We gotta temper those expectations on the Kane trade.
The I believe the Athletic put together between Scott Powers and the Dallas writer. I'm forgetting their name. Saad Youssef, I believe.
Yeah.
They put together a what would it take to get Patrick Kane to Dallas little conversation together, little mock-up trade, and it's not going to be Stankoven. It's not going to be even Maverick Bork from Dallas. Like it may not even be
Dallas
this year's
can't trade
first
a
round
guy
pick.
named Maverick.
No, that's
You
that's
can't.
perfect.
Yes.
Perfect marketing. So yeah, you have to temper from the beginning of the year to maybe the beginning of 2023, January, this calendar year. The expectations of a Patrick Kane trade were pretty high. We were talking multiple first-round quality assets, whether it was picks or prospects. Between January and now, it has dropped significantly.
And that has to do with
the
his production.
and yes, and the closer we get to the deadline, and the more he puts out efforts like this,
Yeah.
keep your expectations low.
Why don't we put a pin in that? Let's take a quick break real quick, and then we'll get back to the Patrick
Pins
Kane
and aces in
conversation.
that? Oh,
That's next break.
That's
This is
next break.
Second break.
Damn it. It would have been perfect.
Well, I am going to tell you guys about some meats. Everybody loves the meats, especially on Valentine's Day. And the best place to get your meat is Greenridge Farm, a Chicago local meat and cheese company offering you better all-natural options. Makers of all-natural deli meat, sausages, and their famous meat sticks. They're perfect for tailgating, happy hours, school lunches. These all-natural meat sticks are hardwood smoked for 8 hours. Oh, boy. With 16 grams of protein per stick, they make a perfect post-workout snack. That's what they tell me. I wouldn't know anything about that. But meat sticks come in chicken, Black Forest beef, and flavors like jalapeno cheddar and spicy chili. They are all quite delicious. If you haven't tried them, you don't know what you're missing. Delicious because they're made from recipes generations in the making, and being all natural, they deliver a fresh and flavorful alternative at snack time. You can find them in the refrigerated section at the Costco's, the Sam Clubs, and all your local Chicagoland grocery stores. Their deli meats are fantastic, by the way. I've been buying the 5-pepper turkey. It's outstanding.
Yep, got my mom the honey ham today.
The turkey itself is really good. I feel like that Seinfeld episode. Is that a turkey roll or is it actual turkey? Like, is there a bird in the back? Well, this is from an actual bird. It's not that processed. Like, this is like getting a slice right off the Thanksgiving turkey, but with the 5-pepper spice on it. It's excellent. So right now, when you order any 3 meat products at greenridgefarm.com, include a pack of those delicious meat sticks in your cart. And guess what? Those meat sticks, they'll look the other way. They won't charge you for them. They will be absolutely free.
They'll fall off the truck.
Simply by using, what's more Chicago than that?
Right.
Simply by using the code CHGO at checkout. Greenridge Farm, simply natural meat.
And now it is time to give our DraftKings king of the game.
Hard to pick in this one.
Yeah, we're going to give it to Seth Jones, mainly because tonight was his 700th career NHL game.
That's an accomplishment.
Congrats.
Took a bit of an off night, 24-33 of ice time, had a shot on goal and a shot block. So he is our DraftKings king of the game. And now that the big game is over, there is a lot of non-football stuff to focus on. You've got the NBA, no sweat, same game parlays. I'm glad Super Bowl's over because I sucked at my bets. How'd you guys do?
I got to. I have to add more money to my account when the show's over.
So not well.
Not
okay.
well at all.
I went 10 for 13.
All right.
That's pretty good. I didn't get the Gatorade color. I didn't get. I had a parlay that missed because Mahomes was just short of 200 pass yards, and I picked the Eagles on the money line, and that didn't happen. But everything else was pretty good. I got the coin toss, heads or tails, and I got the coin toss winner.
Beautiful.
Did the
Well,
Chiefs win the coin toss?
Chiefs won the coin toss.
That ends that streak.
That ends that
First team in 9 years to win the coin toss.
See,
every game.
I had them lose. I had them winning the coin toss and losing the game, but
You went with the trend.
yeah, I did.
Well, you got the pick of the week later this week then because you're on the hot streak.
Yeah.
And baseball is getting started. I saw the Pacoda predicted both the Cubs and Sox to have 77 wins, so maybe put some money there. There are so many options. Download the app now and sign up with the code CHGO. New customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly only at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. With code CHGO, minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See the show notes for details. And as we sort of tie a bow on to this game, why don't we do our 4 stars of the game as well?
Fine.
The number 3 star of the game for Montreal, Mike Matheson. He was a +1, 23-17 of ice time, 2 shots, 3 more shot attempts, a hit, 2 takeaways, and 4 block shots. Congratulations to you, sir. Number 2 star, David Savard. No relation to Dennis. He had a goal, +1, 20-30 of ice time, 3 shots on goal, 3 more shot attempts, and 2 giveaways. Oh, giveaways. That's
Tough.
not good. You suck.
That's tough.
And your number 1 star, Jonathan Drouin. 3 assists, +2, 14-33 of ice time, 2 goals, 1 assist. There you go. There are your 3 stars of the game. My 4 star, I'm going to give it to Seth Jones. Yes, it is his 700th NHL game, and that's certainly part of it. But had a shot, 4 more shot attempts, a hit, a takeaway, a block shot. I don't know.
Yeah,
They all kind of sucked.
It's one of those days where you just throw your hands up and say, that's my pick.
Yeah. You sucked the least. Congratulations.
Congratulations for doing the least amount of sucking.
Yeah. What?
I'm going with a guy that I'm going to go with.
I'm not going to make the joke.
I'm going to go with Reese Johnson because Reese Johnson was one of like 3 guys that I actually noticed played tonight. I was like, hey, there's Reese Johnson doing Reese Johnson thingies, like hitting people. He had 5 hits, 2 shots on goal.
Hey.
That's pretty good when your team only has 22 on the night. And he also dropped the gloves with the little Michael Penzetta at the end of the game. That dude was a pain in the ass all night. 7 hits.
Him and his mullet.
From Penzetta. And then Reese Johnson said, I've had enough of your crap. And got off to a good start. Was giving him like some shots to the ribs, even though he's wearing
body shots.
He's wearing
Body
pads.
blow. Body blow.
And then Penzetta got him right on the chin towards
More
the
like
end of that.
Fienzetta.
Yeah, that was there you go. That
Like
was
a penis, I'm saying.
Got him.
that was the end of that one. But a very Reese Johnson-y type of game for Reese Johnson, making the most out of his ice time.
Sure.
Yes, he did.
I mean, we're not working with a lot of stuff here.
He definitely did. My 4-star of the game, I believe I went with Tyler Johnson.
You
I
did,
did.
yes.
I sure did. He was also noticeable tonight, filling up
He was there.
the stat sheet as much as he could to try and turn the tides of the game. No points, obviously, because it was a shutout. 3 shots on goal, 2 hits, 1 shot block, 2 takeaways, 17 minutes and 19 seconds of ice time. I think he put a solid hit on Kirby Dach to stop a rush chance. So that's when it solidified it for me. I said, there's my star. My
He
fourth
has
star.
7 shot attempts tonight. I believe he had 11 shot attempts against Winnipeg.
He
So
is-
he is the anti Max Domi right now.
Yeah,
he
he-
will shoot everything that comes in his direction except that great pass from Patrick Kane.
Yeah, he fumbled it. Yeah. Well,
It happens.
You can't shoot them all. But look, Tyler Johnson, I know we've said it before, but when he is healthy, he is noticeable and effective in this lineup.
Yes.
And I just want him to get a good stretch of games, good stretch of health, and see what he can do with some consistency. And it's when you're in and out of the lineup, hurt, not hurt, hindered by a sprained ankle, or it's really hard to get your game back going. So I really hope that he can get some consistent ice time, just stay healthy, and see what he can do down this back half of the season, and go into next season and do the same. He could be a trade chip next season.
Sure.
There's an opportunity for him, because this team is likely not going to contend next year at all. So there's an opportunity for him to be healthy, be consistent, be effective, and potentially get himself to a contender this time next year.
When Tyler Johnson's healthy, he's arguably the 4th best forward on this team, 3rd best forward. He's up there. He's in the top 5. So I mean, I know it's
not the highest bar.
It's a
but
low bar to.
Yeah,
But I mean, it's a
one
guy
that
with
he-
multiple cups and
Yeah.
tons of respect around the league, and he's got some versatility.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a guy next
He's
trade
a difference
deadline.
maker out there on a team that has very little difference
Yeah.
makers.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. And just a good dude. And that's
Yes.
the kind of guy, maybe you're sort of grateful he's got a year left on that deal, because if Taves and Kane are gone next season, you're going to need someone with a bit of a veteran presence. And look, I love Seth Jones maybe more than some of the people watching the show, but he's just kind of a quiet. I don't want to say he doesn't have leadership qualities, but he's not going to be like your vocal leader. He's not going to be your Brent Seabrook or your Taves.
He's more of a lead by example kind of guy.
Yeah.
But it doesn't. I think it doesn't have the same kind of, at least from an outside the locker room perspective, doesn't have the same kind of hold to it as far as leadership goes, and kind of like getting guys to kind of follow his lead as it does for someone like Jonathan Taves, who's not necessarily more of the rah-rah guy, but still a lead by example guy. A guy like Jake McCabe, who's definitely a lead by example kind of guy, not really a talker all that much in that respect. But yeah, I think Seth Jones is still one of those guys that serves that role for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we'll get to Tyler Johnson trade rumors next year.
Sure.
But you asked a really good question during the game today as we were
did?
chatting, watching the game.
What was it?
It's like you said, I did. Give yourself the Barry.
No,
Bonds.
I was saying I did.
That was more of a
No,
question.
you were asking about, there's been some people in the Blackhawks Twitter sphere and media sphere saying, like, well, everyone's overblowing this Patrick Kane injury. It's really not a big deal. Well, It is, because the other 31 teams in the league are like, that's a problem.
Right.
Look at him. He's not fast. He's not a difference maker. He's not having an impact on games.
Yeah.
You look at this one, and he kind of started stacking some stats towards the end of the game, but he's a -1 and 21:01 of ice time, 2 shots on goal, 2 more shot attempts, and 2 giveaways. Like, he's not an effective player right now.
Yeah. I think if this team was built more to try and win more games, could the quote-unquote severity of the injury be different, and maybe he's playing a little harder through it? Maybe. But for a guy who is, dealing with an injury that is not a well-kept secret, I think this season it's either A, worse than he's leading on, that a lot of people are leading on, or B, it's becoming a point of, like, potentially he's thinking, like, you know what, I'm not going to, he's playing through this. He's not going to make it worse by overexerting himself in a situation where if he hurts himself, he's not going to be able to go anywhere.
Yeah.
I think that could be the case. But I watched him, watching him this season, especially this game, there were at least 2 or 3 opportunities where he had a chance to get the puck into the zone with some speed, maybe beat a defender in a foot race. And in this game, and as many times as I can recall this season, more than in any season past, he is not taking those chances. He is not taking those opportunities. One-on-one with a defender in years past, even last season, 2 seasons ago, Kane would try and, outskate a guy. This season, I can't put my finger on how many times, almost every time, a situation like that comes and he's pulling up at the blue line looking to make a cross ice pass, or he's losing a foot race and getting knocked off the puck. It just seems like this nagging injury, as much as he wants to downplay it, as much as other people might say, like, oh, sure, he's been dealing with it for 3 years, but last year he put up 92 points or whatever. Yes, the roster is different, but I think that whatever the injury is, it's got to be more serious than other people are letting on.
This is not just talent.
No.
Like, Patrick Kane's woes are not just because the team doesn't have as much talent around him as last year. Look, like, it's real. That is a true factor. We've just been talking about it. There's a cross-ice pass. That should be an assist. Right? In years past, that's an assist for Patrick Kane. That's probably happened 24 times this year. And if he's got 24 more assists, no one's talking about this, right?
Right.
Sure, that's fair. But if you're an opposing GM, you're the Leafs, you're the Stars, you're the Bruins, you're whoever, and you're looking at that final piece to join your team, and you're truly scouting Patrick Kane, you're going to give up a first-round pick and an historically deep draft, plus to get this version of Patrick Kane. That is a big risk. Because if he does go to a contender and suddenly doesn't find the fountain of somewhat better health, whatever you want to call it, and looks like the Patrick Kane of last year and the year before, that's a huge flop for a GM. And you can't, look, like the Dynasty Hawks were more than pleased to throw away draft picks to keep contending. And it worked. They got 3 Stanley Cups. But now we're seeing what happens when you abandon all those and then the guys you do take don't pan out, right? This is who are we talking to? Was it Emily Kaplan who said it's like 60 forwards deep are like first-round talent?
Yeah, 60 player deep.
Yeah, like 60 players worth of first-round talent in this draft. So, honestly, ask yourself this honestly as a Hawks fan. Take away the memories of the Cups. Forget about Showtime. Forget about the Heartbreaker celebration. Forget about all that stuff. If your job was to add one player to win the Stanley Cup this year, would it be Patrick Kane? I think the answer to that is a resounding no.
No.
Because he is not showing you any signs of being the player he used to be. And again, making it clear, it is not all his fault.
No.
Right? There's no one around him. However, like you said, he can't win a foot race. He's getting caught at the blue line. Those are things we never saw before. So it's either health or it's effort. And if I'm a GM, both of those are huge red flags.
Yeah.
There's a lot of concerns right now, and the injury concerns are definitely there. Is his production down solely because of the injury? Probably not. Is it down solely because of the lack of talent around him? Probably not. It's a combination of the two, as you're mentioning about not winning foot races, getting caught. Could some of that be the quote-unquote disinterested Patrick Kane? Maybe there's a little bit of that too. Mm-hmm. And then you wrap that all up with GMs don't even know if the guy wants to be traded, and we're less than 3 weeks from the deadline. That's all wrapped up into one big ball of, I don't know if I want to do that. Now, with that being said, you talk about, GMs see this Patrick Kane. Do they want him? Some GMs have the blinders on and are just like, I don't care. It's Patrick Kane, and I put him on my roster, and that cross-ice pass that he made to Tyler Johnson goes in the net for the assist.
Yeah.
The Colorado or Toronto or whoever team, Carolina. You put him on Carolina, he doesn't have to win foot races.
Right.
He doesn't have to
that's
do
true.
that.
No, that's true.
So some GMs could see it and go, yeah, I know it's not the Patrick Kane of 2015 or the Hart Trophy winning Patrick Kane, but he doesn't have to be that guy on my team.
You're right.
He has to be that guy in Chicago for them to have any chance, and he's not that guy anymore, and he's getting exposed. I can put him in a position where he doesn't need to be that guy, and he can be successful and be that final piece of the. If you're a team that needs superstar Patrick Kane to win a Stanley Cup, you're not a real Stanley Cup contender.
It's true.
If you're a team that needs Patrick Kane at 85%, 75%, that can make those passes that we still see him make, but you have guys that can finish, that's the guy that puts you over the top.
Well, you're right. And also, look, if he goes to whatever, Dallas, fine, and he starts lighting it up for them, none of us will be surprised, right? If it's Sagan and Robertson and you know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Like if he's just feeding the puck to those guys and they're pumping in, he's picking up 1 million assists, and now he's not getting 100% of the attention every shift like he has been. It wouldn't be a surprise to me. But the eye test of Patrick Kane is really, really,
it's not good.
It's an F right now.
It's
it's
not
bad.
good.
It's
not good. And I think it's a lot of factors. All those things we talked about kind of wrapped up in one. And maybe he finally, in the next couple of days, says, okay, I want to be traded, and we see a different Patrick Kane out there.
Yeah.
If he says, I want to be traded, and he has a hat trick his first game, a lot of people are going to be like, there it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well,
during games, I think all of us are kind of like rooting for him to put up big numbers because you don't want teams scared away from Patrick Kane. And that's, you listen to Elliot Friedman, I think him primarily, he seems to be the one who is most kind of bullish on the injury being a big concern for other teams. If he starts producing leading up to the deadline, then that's going to, teams will be, all right, cool, like fine, he's feeling better or whatever. But if they watch this game,
well, then Kyle Davidson needs to make sure that all recordings of this game have been destroyed in an unfortunate
we did
fire.
not have express written consent of the NHL to broadcast.
It was in one of those balloons the military shot down. Sorry, we lost it.
Yeah. Well, and I think the other thing too is, if he continues to play this way, down the stretch, like with what Elliot Freeman has reported, with what Emily Kaplan has reported, and numerous others, it really seems like the injury is a concern for other teams, and if he keeps putting in performances like this, the asking price is going to get a little bit more complicated if he decides to go the trade route. And Scott Powers and Mark Lazarus put it out in The Athletic earlier this week. If Kane continues to wait, then Davidson's timeline to get something completed starts to get a bit shorter, and you could potentially run into a case where it's just like, okay, I have this deal, this offer, let's say. It's not what I want for Patrick Kane, but that's all I have time to do.
Yeah.
Like, then Davidson is put into a hard spot, and it's not his own doing.
No, Davidson's going to take a lot of heat if there's no Patrick Kane trade.
Yep.
But that's not on Davidson.
Nope.
Or more like when the return isn't what people expected for. That's not going to necessarily be on Davidson either for a lot of what you just said. he's going to be given a couple of days to put together something with a maybe only one or two teams to talk to.
Right.
Oh, and then, somebody said in the comment earlier at the end of the year, it might have been Dr. Horror Show, something about the end of the year, he's going to lowball Kane and Taves and they're going to walk for nothing. Guys, they're not going to offer them anything at the end of the year.
It does not seem
if they're
like
not
it, no.
traded, they're not coming back. They're not. Every conversation I've had with people connected to the team, it seems like they're ready for, as we said, they're ready to rip off the Band-Aid. So I don't think people say, well, then sign Kane for 3 years and have him retire as Hawk. I don't think the Hawks are interested in that. I think they're ready to move on and find their next Patrick Kane and Jonathan Taves.
Why? Like,
It does nothing for you except sell tickets.
exactly. And we were having some conversations at the takeover about this, and the fan base is already dealt with them leaving.
Yeah.
It's already in everyone's mind. They're gone. They've already mourned it. They've already been angry about it or upset or sad or whatever you want to say. We've all processed this, that Jonathan Taves and Patrick Kane could leave already. So I just, what does bringing them back do for you? We can make fun of the Bruins for going for it one more time with Bergeron and Krejci. It friggin' worked.
It's working,
because those two guys are still playing really good hockey.
Yeah.
The Penguins with Letang and Malkin and Crosby, like, they're still pretty good. They're not cup contenders,
Yeah, well,
and
let's
they're
have
probably
that
screwing
conversation
themselves
in 2
long term.
years.
Right. But it's Sidney effing Crosby. Right? With these two, and I saw No Roy's Just Rage mentioned it, that Kane wants the record. That is now, because of this year,
He's not hitting it.
he's not going to hit it here.
He needed to
far
have
behind.
an 80, 90-point season to be in for that to be a thing.
To be on
He's
pace,
Not
For
catching.
3 years in a row to even begin the
Yeah,
conversation.
he needed 270-something points now. He needed 3 straight 90-point seasons. He's at what? He's not even at 30 points yet this season.
Right.
He's not sniffing that record on these teams.
He's got 35 points.
Okay.
Wow.
35 points. So
Yeah.
he needs at least 90 this year to kind of make it realistic to even
it's not gonna
get to it.
happen.
He's not coming anywhere close to
I'm going
that.
to do quick math here.
Yeah, and that's to kind of get to that's to do that in the timeline in which it seems realistic for him to still be able to put up 90-point seasons.
Yeah,
in
5
the
years
next
from
3
now,
seasons.
hopefully we have no need for a guy like that to be chasing a record.
He's 252 points behind Stan Mikita. I divided that number by 3. He'd have to have 3 consecutive 84-point seasons to tie him.
And not happening.
Unless he does something to address his injury, get healthy, and sign a contract extension to retire as a Blackhawk, I don't think he's reaching that record.
So he might want to do it. I think the Hawks are ready to just say we're done.
And yes, and let's be clear about this too. Kyle Davidson should not give a shit if Patrick Kane wants to break the record.
No, especially after all
I'm sure
this
Kyle
stuff.
Davidson would like to break that record too, right? We all would.
Right.
But it's not the best thing for the organization. That has to be the only mindset of Kyle Davidson here. And if there's one thing I'll give him credit for, well, there's a few things. He's been pretty good so far. But I'm just saying, he sticks to his guns.
Yeah.
There have been so many opportunities for him to go well, hot start. Well, Lucas Reichel looked pretty good. No. We are going to suck as much as we could possibly suck this year. So hopefully in the summer he's not wooed by the nostalgia of Taves and Kane. And I don't think that Danny Wirtz and Jamie Faulkner would fall for that either. It's really good for them that attendance did not fall off this year like everyone had sort of predicted it would.
Yeah.
The fact that people are still coming to games is a good thing because I think it makes it easier for them to say, all right, if we move on from these guys, it'll be okay. The people at the United Center are not there to say goodbye to Patrick Kane and Jonathan Taves. They're not. It's just not. That's not it. What we're seeing is people who are priced out and boxed out during the dynasty getting to go to games for the first time.
Yeah.
And that's why the building is
No, that's
full.
true. I think if neither guy is back next season will be interesting to see what ticket sales are like because you don't have that factor anymore. It'll be very interesting to see how this team is marketed, who they focus on. Probably Lucas Reichel will be a focal point of that pitch. But yeah, I think if they're not around, that will be definitely something interesting to pay attention to. I think there's, I don't have the door shut on the potential for one of them to be back next year, and beyond. I think it does seem less likely, but if I squint real hard, I can see a way for one of them to if they're not traded, to be given a new contract, a contract in length in which they would retire as a Blackhawk. Not. I know someone mentioned it in the chat about Friedman's spitballing an idea that Kane signs a 1-year extension, shuts it down.
I
gets
think that
his
would have
surgery.
happened by now.
That would have happened at Christmas if that was the problem. But that's not going to happen.
I don't want to spend another freaking year
No.
talking about Patrick Kane trade rumors. I don't
No,
think
it's not
the
worth
Hawks
it.
want that either.
No.
And you know what? This whole process, even if maybe Kyle Davidson had that option of like, okay, we'll bring back Patrick Kane to chase the record. This whole process of, well, I'm going to make a decision, but not yet. He might be like, you know what? Screw you, pal. I'm done. Yeah. Like, I don't want to deal with this anymore.
Yeah.
Like, you're kind of maybe ruining up some goodwill he has. The new guy doesn't want to have anybody that was associated with the last regime here anymore. He's making that clear.
Yeah.
So he might be rooting some goodwill at maybe that ship has sailed. Maybe that was an option for Kyle Davidson. Now he's like, you're not giving me what I want to hear here. Like, if you want to stay, great, but tell me so I can move on to try and get as much as I possibly can for the rest of the guys
That's
I
the
can
thing.
trade. Like,
Let him get to work.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like stop jerking him around. And he might be like, you know what? That kind of pissed me off that you spent all of February, wondering if you should shit or get off the pot. So I don't have anything for you. Go to the Rangers. You wanted to go there so bad, but didn't tell me you wanted to go there. You can go sign with them now. I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Region Rev says, I wish we'd stop talking about it. And like, I get where you're coming from, but like, there's nothing else to talk about.
You want to talk more about the 4-0 loss to Montreal?
This is the story until it's the story. And aside from Taves and Kane and Seth Jones, like, who else on this team ultimately matters at all to their future? Maybe Philip Kurashev. Okay.
Yeah.
None of the defensemen playing this year, aside from Jones, like I said, are going to be here when they're good again.
Yeah.
Even if they don't trade McCabe, he's got 1 year left. He's not going to re-sign here. He's not signing up for 3 more years of a rebuild.
He's got 2 years left.
2 years left. Okay, but he's still.
But still, yeah.
Beyond that, he's not signing up for more. So this is the story. Like, and it's not because, like, yeah, we're tired of like Greg said, I don't want to do another year of this. I don't want to do that either.
No.
It's hard. It's just we all want closure on it. And I just, I'm just done. I was ready to walk away a month ago, and I think everybody kind of feels that way. Like, let's just get this over with and tear the Band-Aid off, and let's go.
I just want to answer one way or the other.
Yeah, I want one show. I cannot wait for the first show where we don't have to talk about this anymore.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about it, but it's what people want to know. It's the topic. And then, listen, we're going to get more people interested in our show talking about the thing everybody wants to talk about, regardless if we want to talk about it or not.
Well, like you said, like, what else though is there? Like,
there's nothing else going on.
We said it a couple games ago. Like, these games just feel in the way until we're beyond March 3rd.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we got 17 days, 16 days to go before we get there.
Yeah.
So a little over 2. We could do it, folks. We can make it together.
Yes.
And hopefully we start seeing some stuff happen here soon. And
that's the other thing is this indecision by Kane is not only holding up the league in their trade discussions to a degree. It completely holds up the Blackhawks, because if you're still deciding what happens with Patrick Kane, you can't move anybody. You can theoretically, but you can't move anybody else. You can't say, oh well, here's Max Domi, but if the team's like, well, we kind of want Patrick Kane, he's like, okay, well, he hasn't told us what he wants to do, so this is the best I can offer you right now.
Yeah.
So it for Kyle Davidson, it holds him up, like you were saying, like let an answer one way or the other from both guys allows him to then say, okay, we are either open for business with both of them, one or the other, or neither one of them wants to be traded, so here's the rest of the guys.
Right.
There
was a comment that you had up there a minute ago, Steven. I think it was from Danny, talking about how they can show. There you go. It's from Mark right there. Those are guys who can show what it takes to be a champion. There's value there.
Yeah, I think
that's
overrated.
wildly overblown. Both guys don't, in my opinion, feel like this is their Blackhawks anymore. You know, like they look around that locker room and it's a room full of strangers.
Yeah.
You know, and you watch the way Patrick Kane is playing and the way he's competing, that's not showing anyone how to be a champion. Patrick Kane right now is playing for himself. He's either playing to stay healthy so he can get traded, or he's checked out because the team sucks so bad.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever it is not showing his teammates how to be champions. I really think that's overblown, and I think we learned a lot about that last year with Jonathan Toews' comments from a guy who was renowned as this great, great captain. Well, you know what? It's really easy to be a great captain when you're winning cups and you're the toast of the town. But when things get tough, what do you do? And Jonathan Toews flat out said, I don't know how to be a captain on a team like this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everybody,
show them how to be a champion.
Everybody
Jonathan.
will tell you, even though Jonathan Toews wore the C for those cup years, Brent Seabrook was the real leader of that team. He showed it in that game in Detroit.
And I don't want to bag on these guys. Like, honestly, because of them, we're here.
Right.
Like, they're honestly, and like they are. As soon as they leave this town, I will be sad about it, and I'll have feels about it. And I think the three of us will.
Yeah.
And like, just like we sort of paused our frustration last year with Toews for the 1,000th game ceremony they had for him. We all kind of put that aside and reflected on the greatness that will never be taken away. But I just don't see them as part of this organization going forward. They don't add anything hockey-wise. What they add off the ice is very, very limited. I just think that you really get in trouble when you sort of fall in love with the mystique of the player instead of what are they actually providing right now, which for both guys is very effing little.
To pay people on current production instead of past production.
Don't pay for past production.
What do you, and all you would be doing for with Kane and Toews right now is holding on to an era that has been over for 6 damn years.
And you don't have to do it.
No.
You still have goodwill built up from that.
Right.
No one's like, these cheap Hawks. It's not a cheap thing. It's not what they're doing. They are doing something that should have been done 3 or 4 years ago. They're finally doing it. So I don't think fans are pissed about this. Yeah, they get frustrated, loss after loss after loss, of course. But you see the end game here.
Yeah.
To me, adding Toews and Kane back next year, whether they're traded at the deadline or not, is a step backwards. And it's just time to move on. We got a super chat we need to acknowledge, too.
It's a John McDonough move.
That's exactly right. $5 super chat from our guy, Lebowski5, says Blackhawks built a juggernaut over a period of time in which they drafted Cam Barker 3rd overall and Jack Skilly 7 overall. If Kane and Toews walk, it won't be a detriment.
Hey, don't you badmouth Dale Talon, the real architect of the Stanley Cup champions. But Cam Barker turned into Nick Leddy and Jack Skilly turned into Michael Furley.
Speaking of Nick Leddy,
Yeah, those
played his 900th
matter.
game.
900
in the
games
NHL
for
tonight.
Nick Leddy.
That's freaking awesome, and I can't believe it actually happened. And that's not because I didn't think it was possible for Nick Leddy. I'm one of like 3 people that own a Nick Leddy Blackhawks jersey. It's still in my
Still own
closet,
it.
number 8. But I just didn't realize he'd been in the league that long. I know
Yeah.
he was on the
Crazy.
2013 team, so
Yeah.
I mean he's been in the league for almost over 10 years.
He was
now.
acquired, what, 2011?
2011, and then he 2012. The 11-12 season was like his real first year.
Yeah.
But good for him. He's put together a solid career. He never was going to be what Joel Quenneville wanted him to be. That's why he was gone. But man, I was a big fan, still a big fan of him, even though he's on St. Louis. So good for Nick Leddy. I mean, the kid can I even call him a kid? He's younger than me. I can call him a kid. He's put together one solid NHL career.
Yeah.
Of just being a dependable puck-moving defenseman in an era where everybody wants a dependable puck-moving defenseman.
Was he on the Blues Cup team?
No.
Or no?
No, he was still on the Islanders.
Still on the Islanders.
He
okay.
signed with the Blues last year. He was with Detroit last year.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Traded to the Blues and then re-signed with the Blues, I believe it was. Yeah, he wasn't on that Cup team.
I thought he was.
Quentin says, I'd rather see Kane somewhere else. Screw a discount. Rather see him play with good players. I also want the Hawks to have a new identity. And Charlie the Bacon guy asked us if we can compare it to the Rizzo, Bryant, and Baez situation. I think the difference there was that most of those guys were still perceived to be at the top of their games.
The Cubs window wasn't shut.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Blackhawks is.
The fans definitely weren't on board for the Cubs selling
Yeah,
off.
that
And the
was-
Cubs Rizzo Bryant thing kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it all happened so quickly. They didn't
It was
have
all the same day, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like I think it was Rizzo and then Bryant and Baez the next day. But it all happened so quickly where as like Hawks fans, have had all season to prepare for this.
And they've watched the decline over the last few years.
And a lot of
too.
Hawks fans want it to happen. There weren't many Cub fans
No.
that were like, you have to trade Anthony Rizzo and Javi Baez. Now, in hindsight, looking at what those guys have been doing, it's not looking like a bad move. Like the Baez trade might turn out to be really good because they've got a stud outfielder for him, and Baez has been robbing money from Detroit. But
Rizzo's been good.
Yeah, Rizzo's been good.
It's also way different. Yeah, Schwarber's part of that too. It's also way different environments though in the sport, because in baseball, especially a team that's in Chicago like the Cubs and can just print money however they want, you don't have to tear down and rebuild for financial reasons or because of financial reasons, because you can't afford these guys. In baseball, you can throw money wherever you want and build a team, with your paychecks, because you can.
The Cubs don't want to do that.
The Cubs don't want to do that.
Sox
So that was
definitely
the problem. Where the Blackhawks, we saw it after the 2010 Cup. They were punished for being a good team, and they couldn't fit under the hard cap, so they had to dismantle that team and be able to rebuild it back up. But now, now it's not money. It's not money reasons. It's not that they have to dump all this money because they're up against the cap and they're terrible. It's just it's the end of the it's pretty much the end of the road for this tandem.
And Lebowski follows up. My point is the rebuild isn't predicated on the Hawks getting a return for Kays and Tays. You are 1,000% correct. Yes, because look what's already happened. They've gone from 25th to 5th in one draft in Scott Wheeler's rankings.
Mm-hmm.
Right, like they've already got anything they get for Taves and Kane is just gravy at this point. It's actually if you get nothing and they both leave at the end of the season as free agents, it's disappointing. But does it set the team back?
Not really. I mean,
no.
Look, an extra
you've already
got
a couple
extra picks would be nice. Sure.
Yes, you already got 4 first-round picks over the next 2 drafts. One of them might be number 1 overall this year.
Right.
Sure. You
maybe next year.
Yeah, exactly. You've got 2 pretty top picks coming in the next year. You can easily say they draft top 3 this year. They can easily be right back in the top 5 next year.
Mm-hmm.
So, it does not. The rebuild isn't set back. It isn't ruined. The plan isn't a failure if you get nothing for Kane and Taves.
And first round picks are all well and good. You need them, but it's not the end all be all. If you get second round picks and third round picks that hit, the occasional 4th round, 5th round pick, a 7th round pick that hits, you get a couple of those and things go well. Case in point, the Blackhawks of the mid 2000s, early 2000s. You look at some of the guys that were part of that Cup run that didn't come from the first round, like Corey Crawford, Duncan Keith, like guys like Nicholas Hjalmarsson, Dustin Byfuglien. These are deeper round guys. Dave Bolin. And you look at what Kyle Davidson did in just his first draft class. First off, getting 3 first-round picks when you went into the day with 0 is incredible.
It's wizard level stuff.
But then coming away with second round picks like you get Ryan Green, who's killing it with Boston this year. You get Samuel Savoie, who's killing it in the queue and grittying on everybody. You get a guy like Paul Ludwinski, who's made a big impact with Kingston. You get a couple of guys into the 2nd, 3rd, 4th rounds that can become difference makers or have these these higher end trajectories as they go through their development. That's going to be huge going down the line. And adding a guy like Connor Bedard or Adam Fantilli really accelerates everything. But if it ends up not being one of those 2 guys, it's going to sting, but it'll sting less when Leo Carlson is
added to a top
added to
pool.
when you get a guy like Leo Carlson or look down the line like a Gabe Perreault or just a lot of the different guys that we've been mentioning. Will Smith getting jiggy with it with the U.S. program.
Yeah.
There's a lot of guys that this Blackhawks team could have in their system this time next year that are making impacts like Korchinski and Nazar and Ethan Del Mastro are having right now. You get that going, and we're talking 2-3 years down the road before we're seeing the upswing. I would hope see the upswing of this team back into contention and back to having some games that matter, players of consequence. Like next season, there will be a few more. The season after that, 2024-25, that I think is going to be the landmark year where the new identity of the Blackhawks that will officially, the door will be shut on the 1-goal era, the Taves and Kane era, the modern cup era, and that will be the new swing of the new identity of the Blackhawks, and that's going to be a very exciting time.
Yeah, I mean it's already we're seeing that Kyle Davidson. I know it's one draft class, but we're seeing that they know how to get some talent. Now the next step is the development.
Yeah,
and we're not going to know how good they are at that for 3, 4, 5 years, but it's great. And if you don't get number 1 or number 2, you're still going to have a top 5 prospect pool at the end of that. You're going to climb up the prospect.
You might
pool.
be
top 3.
3, yeah.
You're not going to get worse because you missed out on Bedard or Fantilli. You're still going to add some great pieces to a really good prospect pool. It's amazing that we could say that they have a top 5 prospect pool in 1 year, not even 1 calendar year of Kyle Davidson.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's pretty amazing. Now, will all these guys turn out to be superstars? No. But you're seeing for the first time in a long time a foundation.
Yep.
And they're going to build that foundation even more this year. 4 first-round picks in the next 2 drafts. This is how you do it.
You build that foundation brick by brick.
There you go.
As someone on this network will say.
Yep.
That's right. All right, we've got 43 likes. We're about to do the tank standings. Let's get to let's make it easy tonight. Let's go to 47. 47 for a bonus spin. Smash that like button. But first, we're going to tell you about our friends at Pins and Aces.
Yes, Pins and Aces, the official golf apparel sponsor of CHGO and the presenting sponsor of the Big Drive Energy Golf Podcast on the All City Network. If you want to look great when golf season comes back around here in the Chicagoland and Illinois area, you got to get yourself some Pins and Aces gear and be looking great out there on the course. Pins and Aces, a family-owned and operated golf and apparel business. They make amazing polos, hats, golf bags that can be customized, and, of course, the fan favorite beer sleeve, the innovative product that allows you to store up to 7 beers right inside your golf bag and keep them cold the entire round. And they could be our lovely Goose Island beers if you'd like, or they could be sparkling water, maybe some Liquid Deaths, keep them cold. Whatever you want it to be, you can fit up to 7 of those cans right there inside the bag. Comes in handy on the golf course. So check out pinsandaces.com. When you do use the promo code CHGO, when you do that, you're going to receive 15% off of your first order, and you're going to get free shipping on that order. Again, that's pinsandaces.com. And if you have a loved one that loves to get out there on the golf course and you forgot your Valentine's Day gift, head over to Pins and Aces and maybe make it up to them.
Yeah. All right, we crushed our goal of 47. We got 53.
Hey,
so
nice.
let's get to 60, and I'll add another bonus spin.
Mashinter.
In the meantime, let's check the tank standings. Those dastardly Devils really screwed the pooch in this one.
Couldn't wait 1.4 more seconds.
Seriously. Yeah, so the Devils beat the Columbus Blue Jackets with 1.4 seconds left to go.
Jeez.
So the Blue Jackets still at the top of the tank standings, but the Hawks catching them in games played finally. 36 points in 53 games for the Blue Jackets. The Hawks, second in tank standings with 37 points in 52 games. Anaheim, Arizona, and San Jose round out the next 3. All of them have played 54 games, 40, 44, and 45 points.
I believe San
for
Jose
those
and
teams.
Pittsburgh are the late game tonight.
Ah, interesting.
Yes, puck just dropped.
Awesome. I will listen to that on the way home. So, with that, we've got 2 spins so far on the tank standings. What did I say, 57 or 60?
You said, well, we were at 53. You wanted to get to 60.
I want to get to 60. All right, 60 will give us 2 bonus spins. Right now, we've got 2 total spins. So,
2
let's do
more
it.
bonus spins at 60?
Smash that like button.
Yeah, smash it.
All right, let's give it a spin. Montreal,
Yeah,
Oh, no.
Florida.
No,
to Montreal.
Montreal.
Montreal is 1 and 2.
See, no, they are listening to us. They've heard us say Montreal 50 times tonight. Just like when we talk about the Blues, they magic this. I'm calling complete shenanigans on this tankathon.
That is.
I mean, the fact that could actually happen though is terrifying.
They could. They have an 11% chance.
Yeah, according to their wonderful media, 5% of one pick, 6% of the other means they have an 11% chance of number
it's
one.
the metric system. Back off.
Yeah.
So it ended up Montreal, Columbus, Chicago, Anaheim.
That's awful.
Nightmare
Awful.
scenario.
That's not good.
We
don't
won't
want
be
that.
doing that.
No.
Yes.
Well, let's
All right,
reset
let's try
it.
again.
Good thing that didn't happen in
4
real
more
life.
likes. Let's do it. Come on. Go ahead. Ottawa, Montreal,
Back to
Columbus,
4 again.
Chicago.
Yeah,
Not
see,
good.
No.
It's because, I believe Greg's.
It's listening to us. We've mentioned Ottawa a couple times because the Brinkett trade, and they're
DeBrincat.
playing them. It's listening to us in the office.
Everything's listening.
And we
to
talked
us
about
now.
Columbus a bunch tonight because they lost with 1.4 seconds. You bums.
All right, I'm not going out that way. We'll do one more anyway. Just I'm feeling.
We'll
I'm feeling
take
nice.
it out of our pocket.
Happy Valentine's to everybody.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's worth it. Give us those
All right, let's
Blackhawks.
Ugh.
Back to 4.
Anaheim, Arizona, Columbus, Chicago. This sucks. No. No. But I guess if there's a lesson here, it's to not obsess over every point the Hawks pick up. Because
the lesson here is that no matter how many games they lose, the Blackhawks will not get the first overall pick. We're cursed. We are cursed. It's all downhill from here.
I think the lesson here is we need to find another site that does this simulation thing.
Steven, I kept telling you to build one of those in time for the next show. What's wrong with you?
on.
You've got 22 hours to get the next
Still
one.
brushing
Let's
up
go.
on my engineering skills, guys. I'll get there.
You're a tremendous slouch.
graphic
okay.
design was your passion.
Yeah, exactly.
That's Joey you're thinking of.
Darn.
Yeah. All right, well, we're going to be back and do this again tomorrow night. We'll probably talk about a Hawks loss, Patrick Kane's trade status, maybe a little bit of Jonathan Taves.
You know what
And
we
Austin
should
Matthews coming here in 2 years.
I was going to say, you know what we should do is talk about Austin Matthews' free agent destinations and all the trades that the Maple Leafs should make after they defeat the Blackhawks.
That'll get us a lot of clicks on YouTube.
That will be our most watched
Yeah, there you go.
YouTube video
Hashtag Maple Leafs.
of all time. Hashtag Leafs forever.
Let's see how motivated number 88 is tomorrow night. Maybe showing himself off a little bit.
That would be interesting.
I'm going to be interested to see who has to make that early flight to Toronto from Rockford tomorrow.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see. Yeah, because if Kachuk played tonight, right?
Yes.
I mean, he was on the ice.
Technically, he
Yeah.
was dressed in his
Yes.
uniform and everything.
He got a game check tonight.
So I think if it was
That whistle can't go. There's no extra forward.
Didn't you miss it? You missed his
Yeah.
shot on goal, huh? Wow.
if Entwistle can't play, no one's available because Kara's not back.
You can't do
Taze
7 defensemen
isn't
because
back.
you don't have an extra defense. You don't have an extra.
Someone
player
has
right
to
now.
come up. Yeah.
They have to call somebody up.
Well, we'll see. Maybe it'll be Cole Gutman's turn finally.
Sure.
Josiah Slavin, come on down.
I'm for it.
Sure, why not?
Just give me a pulse.
Someone with the pulse.
That's all we ask.
Hey, I'll make the trip if you want.
There you go. Mario could throw some checks.
I have a pulse.
He does. Probably stronger than me and Greg's. All right, we're going to wrap things up.
You know
Thanks for
what's
joining
crazy?
us. What?
My wife and I got Fitbits as a Valentine's Day gift.
Cute.
It tracks your heart rate, and my heart rate is like dangerously low. My resting heart rate is currently 52 beats per minute, and it says if you are an elite athlete that your resting heart rate should be between 48 and 60, and if you are not considered yourself an elite athlete, if it is below 60, you should call your doctor.
Okay.
So I don't know
fine.
what to consider
You're
myself.
an elite athlete.
Am I an elite athlete?
Whatever you got
'Cause
to tell yourself, man.
You're an elite athlete. Sleep well tonight.
I guess. I just don't want to go to the doctor.
You don't have to. You're an elite athlete.
I
Wow.
guess.
Well, good luck with all that.
I'll try.
All right, we're back tomorrow night after Hawks and Leafs in Toronto, and we are presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook. Download the app. Use promo code CHGO when you sign up. For Greg and for Mario and for Steven, I'm Jay. We'll talk to you tomorrow night on the CHGO Blackhawks podcast.